Everything you need to know about airline frequent flyer programs. These programs are often designed to be confusing and hard to figure out how you can earn your miles and redeem your miles on purpose because, well, the airlines would prefer if you didn't redeem your miles for free flights. But you know what? Those free flights and free travel are yours to keep. And so in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know, whether you're a beginner in this game or whether you're advanced at it and have been collecting miles for a long time. I'll share with you some of my advanced mileage collection tips that I've learned after traveling over 1 million airline miles. And so first, I want to start this journey by talking just a little bit about the history of airline frequent flyer programs. So the first frequent flyer program was actually created by United Airlines, and it gave out plaques and like promotional materials to be like, hey, thanks for flying, you know, little like swag, keychains, those sort of things. And so that was the first frequent flyer program just to recognize loyalty on United Airlines in the 70s. Well, in the late 1970s, in 1979, in fact, Texas International Airlines, which is not an airline anymore, they created the first frequent flyer program that actually used distance or mileage to give rewards to its passengers. And ever since then, these loyalty programs, as they're known, have been so popular and so effective at incentivizing passengers like us to give their business to a single airline because they get rewarded based on loyalty, that over 100 different airlines around the world now have frequent flyer programs. And so in this video, I'm not going to be covering like specifics of any one program, really more general guidance about how to maximize your mileage and awards regardless of what program you are in. And so today, airline rewards have actually become such a big business that many airlines have actually like split them off as companies or as profit units from the main airline. And in the case of like United Airlines, Mileage Plus, the loyalty program, actually operates as a separate entity from the operating airline itself. And if you fly in United and you earn some miles, the airline is like buying miles from the loyalty program to give to you. And the loyalty programs essentially act as these virtual banks of mileage currency. The thing that's really changed ever since they were created in the 70s is that when these programs were created in the 70s, they were focused on distance. How far you fly equates to how much awards you earn. But today, in the 2020s, we're really finding that many airlines have realized that people can game the system and get really cheap flights that they can fly a long way and get a lot of rewards that maybe they didn't earn. And so the airlines, instead of rewarding how long you fly, the airlines are now rewarding how much money you spend on the airline. And so many of the programs have gone to revenue-based earning, even though they might still call the things you earn miles or kilometers. Many have switched to the term points, Southwest Airlines in particular, because their points aren't based on the distance you've flown at all. The other ways people earn miles, and we're going to talk through these more in detail as we go on through this video, is credit cards. In the USA, over 30 million people have airline credit cards that earn miles. Also with a whole bunch of other things, hotel partners, rental cars, there's lots of ways to earn miles. In fact, so many people earn miles in these other ways that in the big US mileage programs, United being an example, only approximately 30% of all miles earned that are United Airlines miles are actually earned from flying the airline. 70% of all of the United miles earned actually come from one of these other means. All right, so throughout this video, miles, points, kilometers, I'm going to refer to miles, and that means all of those different things, regardless of what program we're talking about. All right, so now I want to talk about why do you want to earn miles? Like, what's in it for you to earn a mile? And it's pretty simple. If you get enough of them, you can get free flights. Or if you don't just want free flights, then you can get upgrades. You can pay for a flight, and then you can get upgraded to a better seat. Or you can earn elite status on the airline where you get a whole bunch of other perks. Elite status, I'm going to save that conversation for later on in the video. And in the beginning of this, we're going to talk about the concept of earning and then redeeming for free travel. Many people often ask me, Chris, how can you possibly afford to travel so much? And the answer is pretty simple. We use a lot of airline miles. We earn a lot of airline miles, which also helps us use and redeem them for going faraway places like Tokyo, Taiwan, Singapore. A lot of the flights we take these days, we are redeeming airline miles to book those flights. Now, if you don't like to travel and you're not interested in free flights, if you're not interested in free flights, then you might be in the wrong place. The other thing you should know about airline miles is if you're earning your airline miles and you're redeeming them for really anything else other than free flights and upgrades, you're probably doing it wrong. So like, you get that catalog or that email to be like, oh, you can get a pair of Bose headphones. All you need to do is redeem 100,000 of your American Airlines miles for them. Pretty much all of those merchandise redemptions are a super bad deal for you. All right, so let's talk now about how do you actually earn your airline miles. So first I said flying, and in some programs, just like they started, it remains distance-based. If you fly a flight that is 1,000 miles, then you earn 1,000 miles into your frequent flyer account. But many airlines now, going revenue-based, are rewarding people not just for the distance that they fly, but rewarding travelers for how much money that they spend. And so in many of these programs, the total number of miles that you earn can be some multiplier based on the total distance multiplied by the somehow price of your ticket. It could be if you get an economy ticket, you get 1,000 miles. If you get a business class ticket, you get 2,000 miles. If you get a first class ticket, you get 3,000 miles. I've really simplified those calculations, but to say that the more you spend, generally the more you earn on many airlines today. So if you're not flying, some of the other ways to earn a lot of airline miles is via credit cards. And this certainly varies based on country, where you are in the world. Certainly the USA is the capital of airline credit cards and offers, although they can still be lucrative in other countries. In the US, the primary way you're going to get miles from a credit card is not by spend, we'll talk about that in a moment, but actually by the sign-up bonus. Many credit cards have a really lucrative sign-up bonus, 50,000 miles, 100,000 miles. It would take you a lot of flying to match the 100,000 mile sign-up bonus that you might get from a credit card, and so definitely looking at those credit cards and the sign-up bonuses, earning the sign-up bonuses, and then potentially putting the credit card on the shelf or canceling the credit card after a year, opening another credit card to get that other sign-up bonus is a great way to get a lot of miles fast. You can also earn miles based on spending a lot on the credit cards or spending a little, then you'll earn a little. But it's often like you spend $1 on the credit card and you earn $1 that you spend $1 on the credit card and you earn 1 mile that you can redeem later. Or if you spend $1 with the airline, maybe you receive $5 because if you spend it with the airline, then, well, they're probably not paying themselves as many credit card interchange fees. And then something else to look for if you're going for the co-branded credit cards, some of them have like an annual mileage bonus just for having the card. You might get a few more miles. Or some of them also have rebates on award tickets. Like if you book award tickets, you might get 10% of your award tickets back, just as like a benefit of having the card. Third way people earn miles is via shopping portals. I'm going to dive more in the shopping portals later on in this video, but most of the major, certainly the big American carriers, all have a website that you can go to that is their shopping portal. What is that? Basically, it's some place where you log in with your frequent flyer information, then you can click through to usually about 1,000 other online stores. Think Macy's or Apple or Dell. And if you click through the airline shopping portal to that store, then when you make a purchase, you can earn a certain number of miles that get credited back to your frequent flyer account. Rental cars. Many rental car companies have deals with the airlines where if you input your frequent flyer number, you might get a small amount of miles for that rental. Hotels. Hotel chains are often doing partnerships with airlines where if you stay with the hotel, you can also earn airline miles. These things come and go, so I'm not going to promote any specific one, because by the time I did that next year, they would absolutely be different. Another way to earn airline miles is when the airline makes a mistake. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're on a plane like this JetBlue plane, and the in-flight entertainment doesn't work, your seatback entertainment doesn't work, let the flight attendants know. And if it really doesn't work and it's really broken, many times the airlines will offer you some amount of mileage as a compensation for that mistake that they made, something not working. The great Southwest Airlines meltdown of a year and a half ago around Christmas time, they refunded everybody's flights, they paid for everybody's travel costs otherwise, and they gave everybody 250,000 Southwest points, which is worth about $250 US because they made that mistake. You can also earn miles if you're bumped off of a plane. Sometimes they'll offer the credit to you in the form of mileage that you can use later. Sometimes they'll offer it to you as actual dollar credit. And finally, you can earn miles by transferring it from another partner. Certainly hotels partner with the airlines where you can transfer your Marriott, Hyatt, Hilton points into airline miles. But really the best transfer partners are actually some of the major credit card companies, American Express, Chase, and Capital One. They all have credit cards that don't, in addition to having co-branded airline credit cards, they also have credit cards that earn their own currency. Chase Ultimate Rewards is one of them. Capital One, miles, I think they call it, on the Venture card. And they might call it points. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. And American Express earns membership rewards points. And then these credit card companies have many transfer partners that then you can take those points and transfer them to whatever airline you're going to use to actually book the award ticket. I find the transferable currency to be the most valuable currency in this miles and points game. Points Traveler, who is probably an expert on this points thing, says that the in-flight entertainment didn't work on our United flight back from Zurich. They gave us a $150 credit towards another flight. Not a bad deal. That is pretty good. And so sometimes you have to complain. Sometimes if it just doesn't work for everybody, then you just get it. I'm curious, Points Traveler, did you have to let them know, or was that just like it didn't work on the whole plane and so they gave it to everybody? And Alex, talking about that Southwest meltdown of last year, says, one of my friends is a dispatcher for Southwest, heard some behind-the-scenes stories of the craziness. What a nightmare. Absolutely, total nightmare. Kathy says, we didn't get our extra legroom from LA to Sydney, and we were supposed to get 5,000 Qantas points, but never received them. I would have complained and then be like, hey, where's my points? And then maybe they give you more for complaining. Obviously, there's a time span that they remember it. If it's been 2 years later, maybe they've forgotten about it entirely. And Points Traveler says, in his case, it was the whole plane that was broken, so they got $150 per passenger for that in-flight entertainment being broken. All right, let's go ahead and talk about now, how do you actually use these airline miles? And when you're booking flights, and I'm using United as an example, but most airline websites will typically have two different booking paths. One, the default booking path, if you just go there and you type in, wherever you're going or wherever you're going to, it'll come back with cash fares. This is how much it costs to go there. Then if you want to get to the miles booking path, you maybe have to click a box that says book with miles. In the case of United, that's what I've circled up there. There's a little thing, you tick that and you say book with miles, and then all of a sudden it opens up. These are the flights that you can get if you have miles. Why is this important, or why do they do this? Because typically the availability of seats on a plane using award miles is different than the availability of if you're paying in cash. And so, yes, the airlines would rather have your dollars than have their own miles, and so they limit the number of seats that are available for award tickets, which is why you gotta do that little thing and say book with miles. Now, some airlines will have a third option if you want to book awards with a partner. So if you have miles with one airline, it doesn't necessarily, if you have United Miles, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you have to book United flights. You can use United Miles to book ANA flights. You can use United Miles to book, really any carrier in the Star Alliance. We're going to talk about these alliances later, but then they may have a different way to search for partner award inventory. And many Airlines actually tend to not show all of the availability actually on their website. And so if you want the best availability, particularly if you're booking for a partner, you often just have to call the airline and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Do you have any availability? Note, you will not find award tickets on major booking platforms. So if you're going on like Expedia or Kayak and things like that, you won't find any award availability there. If you're really getting advanced into award booking, there are services that you can pay that will actually tell you when there is award availability on certain routes, so that you don't have to waste your time calling the airline all the time. You can like sign up for wait lists and be like, hey, tell me when award availability comes up from LAX to Tokyo, and then you'll get an email, from your monthly subscription about like, there's award availability now, go and book it. And I mentioned this before, but I'm going to say it again. Redeeming your miles for anything other than travel is a bad deal. All right, let's talk a little bit more now about the revenue-based versus the distance-based program. So the program started based on distance, which brought us the term mileage run. We're going to talk more about mileage runs too. And with a mileage run, people would game the system and they would book really long flights for really cheap and earn a lot of miles, maybe even earning more than the ticket itself was actually worth. And so the airline said, what? That's ridiculous that we're actually like paying people more than we're earning. We should figure out some other method. And so airlines have gone to this revenue-based scheme where the more you spend, the higher ticket class you book. And it's not even like maybe on Southwest Airlines or some of these discount carriers, they don't even have economy, business, or first, but they've got like different types of tickets where they have their like budget economy, and then they have their like fully cancelable economy. Those will generally be different tiers of mileage earning. You'll earn more miles or points if you're in the more expensive tickets. And so Southwest is an entirely revenue-based system. There's no bonus for how long you fly. It's all dollars in and dollars out. The other kind of bonus you might get for earning miles is if you have elite status with the airline. That could potentially be another multiplier to help you. And of course, we've talked about those credit cards before. So like if you want to earn the most miles for any airline transaction, it's having a high level of elite status with the airline, using the airline's credit card, and then buying a really expensive ticket. That's how you're going to earn the most miles. Obviously, I'm not trying to encourage all of you to buy first class tickets, but you put all these things together. And you know what? It might turn out that the first class ticket might not be that much more expensive than one of the other ones, but it can earn a lot more miles, potentially based on the multiplier that they apply to first class tickets. Points Traveler says British Airways Avios miles to buy Japan Airlines tickets is a great option. Absolutely. And so this is I'm going to call it advanced tip, definitely advanced tip about using one airline's currency to book on another airline. And so if you really want to like find the best value, it's a lot of these things where you're like, well, if I use this airline's currency to book on this airline for this particular part of the world, it works out cheaper than if I use the airline's even own currency to book it. Logan says, often on revenue-based systems, you don't earn miles on taxes and fees, which can be hundreds of dollars of the ticket price. Looking at you, London. Logan, this is a great point, and I had it in my notes to talk about, but I'll talk about it here because you brought this up. So absolutely, they award you points based upon what the airlines actually collected. London is really kind of like, if you're looking at booking like business and first class award tickets, might be a city that you want to avoid flying out of on a premium class award ticket, because London basically, or the UK, basically charges a like luxury tax, like a luxury tax for luxury seats. And so even though you're booking an award ticket, you might still be paying hundreds of dollars in taxes that the UK imposes for the privilege of sitting in one of those fancy seats. Where if you just picked a neighboring country, you might not have to pay such insane taxes. All right, so now the question becomes, what about elite qualifying miles. I said I was going to talk about this earlier, so let's go ahead and talk about this now. So different programs call them different things: elite qualifying, premier qualifying, medallion qualifying. But generally, the miles that you earn with any airline, there's two buckets that you have. One is your redeemable miles. You can consider the redeemable miles a currency that you can use to book free travel. Then your elite qualifying miles is kind of like the equivalent of if you're in like a role-playing game and you're collecting experience that helps you like level up your character. Except in the case of airlines, your character's ability or strength resets every year. So you earn elite status based upon the number of miles you've flown in a given year, or how much money you've spent, however the airline does it. And then typically you earn that status, whatever level 1, 2, 3 you got, for the remainder of the year that you got all these miles in, and then the next year as well. You can kind of like game this system by like, if you can fly a lot in, January or February, then you can have that status for almost 2 years, because then you get it for like the rest of year 1, and then you also get it for year 2. And to make it so it's not like a hard cutoff for people, generally you get to like keep your status from the previous year, often through like maybe January or February of the following year. Elite miles, they can't be redeemed for anything, and different carriers all have different tiers that you can reach. Some carriers have lifetime tiers. So in my case, whenever I say, hey, I've traveled 1 million miles, it's really easy for me to tell that because I look in my United account and I can see I've flown over 1 million miles. United has a counter to say this is how many lifetime miles you've flown on the airline. With United, once you reach 1 million miles, then you get a lifetime status, the equivalent of the 50,000 mile a year tier. Something to be aware of regarding lifetime status on many airlines is lifetime status often only is calculated via miles flown or earned directly with that airline. So if you're crediting partner airlines to it, then you might not be earning lifetime status. We're going to talk more about crediting partner airlines here in a moment. You should also know that not all miles and points are created equal, just like not all planes are created equal. This Whistler airplane that lands on the lake is definitely not the same as flying on a Boeing 787. And so in particular, United miles, if you have like one United mile versus one Delta Sky Peso, as they're often called. Why are Delta things called Sky Pesos? Because they're really not worth very much. Like, it takes a lot more Delta points to book the same ticket to the same place as United miles. One website you can go to find roughly how much your points are worth is thepointsguy.com. The Points Guy, they like value all these different things. Whether their like valuations are perfectly correct, because it's not really a science, is debatable, but they are at least a basis for you to be like, hey, at what point should I, like, if the ticket costs me $250, should I use 25,000 miles for it? Or if these miles are worth 3 cents a mile, then maybe I should hold out to buy the $750 ticket, because the $250 one is not a good use of my money. Often, like, say airlines within a certain region will price a ticket the same. So whether you're flying from Los Angeles to San Francisco or Los Angeles to New York City may actually be the same price of miles, because it's considered the same region flying in the USA. And so in that case, it wouldn't be worth it to redeem it for the LAX San Francisco leg. You should save your miles for redeeming for LAX to New York City. It used to really be easy to determine how much your points are worth, because airlines used to publish award charts that you could see. If I wanted to fly from this region to this region in this fare class, it would cost me this much. But in order to make it harder for people to figure out where the sweet spots are for redeeming their miles, many airlines have done away with their award charts, and the only way you really know what the prices are is by searching the airline website directly yourself. Or you can search online and be like, how much should it cost for me to fly from this and this and this? And, you'll find people that have put those sorts of things together. So do make sure you're getting a good rate. You'll see many of these airlines often advertise a saver rate for an award ticket and a standard rate for an award ticket. The standard rates can maybe be 3 times the price of the saver award, which means you should almost never book that standard award ticket. Unless you need to get to your brother's wedding or something like that, his emergency wedding or in Vegas, then maybe you need to go. But otherwise, we tend to wait and plan our trips accordingly to make sure we get the lowest award mileage price available. We heard earlier that we need to beware of surcharges. And so British Airways, London, I'm talking about you. British Airways charges crazy fuel surcharges. London charges crazy taxes. So just because the ticket is free doesn't mean it's actually free. Joe says Spirit Air Miles are called Immortals. That's a hilarious term for a Spirit Air Mile. And Kathy says Quanta calls them status credits. All right, thank you for sharing those terms, Kathy and Joe. All right, and then I mentioned transferable currency, the Chase points, the mileage, membership rewards points, American Express, Capital One points. Those are generally the most valuable, not because you can necessarily redeem the point for that much more, but because you have so many different options of airlines to transfer it to, you can find the one that gives you the most value to redeem for. Okay. So what type of ticket is going to get you the most value? And this is Chris here on Singapore Airlines business class that, yes, I booked with miles. And the best value reward redemptions are going to be for premium class travel. International business class booked with the carrier's own miles tends to be the sweet spot in many programs. Although you heard from Points Traveler, you can find other sweet spots in different programs. To book this one on Singapore Airlines, I transferred American Express membership rewards points to Singapore Airlines to then book Singapore Airlines business class from Singapore to Taipei. This was a great flight. Also because the flight attendants recognized me. They were like, oh, it's Yellow Productions. And so it was actually the business class flight attendant that took that picture, which was super cool. Now, of course, you might say, Chris, I'm not really interested in business and first class. Fine. Book economy tickets if that's what you're into. And I'm not like being pejorative about that, but if you want to know how do I get my most money's worth, it's definitely booking these higher level tickets. All right. The other thing you might want to consider is should you book a business class or first class ticket outright? Like, should you use your miles to book that ticket entirely? Or should you buy a cheaper ticket? Like, should you buy an economy ticket and then use your miles to upgrade? The things you need to pay attention to if you're doing this, obviously, is how much does that base ticket cost? Does the upgrade, is it just miles or is it like miles plus cash? So you'll often need to pay attention to whatever ticket price you're looking at for the economy ticket. What class does it book into? Because they have different levels of economy tickets on these airlines. And then based on that level of the economy ticket, there's generally different mileage and cash prices to go up to the next level of service. And then, of course, you'll need to make sure that the upgrade bucket is available. The airlines make award seats booked outright available differently than upgrade seats as well. And when they offer the upgrade seats, they'll often offer them first for people to pay cash, to be like, hey, do you want to upgrade to business class for $500? And you know what? The airline's going to take those people before they're going to take the actual mileage upgrade. Many airlines, if you're buying a ticket with cash, have a 24-hour no questions asked cancellation opportunity. So, my advice would be, if you're looking at this, book the ticket with cash, apply the mileage award, and if you find out that there's no availability or you couldn't find it otherwise, then you can also just cancel that flight within the first 24 hours and then figure out how you rebook it another way. All right. Let's talk about why it's important to always sign up for the rewards program. This is one of my pro tips is if you're flying an airline and it's not one that you can credit to a program that you already have, sign up for the awards program, because you know what? You never know when you're going to fly that airline again. This might be the first time you fly Southwest or the first time you fly Turkish Airlines, but then you find out, you know what? I only thought I'm going to Istanbul once this year, but turns out this year I'm going there 4 times. That happened to me with Modesto, California. You know, I flew to Modesto, California to give a presentation at a conference, last year? And then I ended up doing an audio tour of Modesto, and I ended up flying there 3 more times later that year. All credit to Southwest, because I have my Southwest number. But if I would have been like, oh, well, let me not sign up for the Southwest program because I don't know when I'm ever going to fly them again, I would have wasted a lot of miles that I earned on those flights. And even if you don't fly that airline a lot more, you know what? Maybe you can at least get a free magazine subscription or an inflatable pillow with your airline miles. Chris, didn't you say that redeeming your miles for anything else other than travel is a waste? Yes, unless you don't have very many miles in that program and they're going to expire unless you do something with them. In that case, it might actually be worthwhile to redeem it for a magazine subscription or Blender or whatever. We'll talk more about mileage expiration in just a moment. But Chris is thirsty. What's Chris drinking today? Ooh, this is, what is this? This is kumquat juice. This is like a kumquat drink. Lots of vitamin C, made in Japan. It's even got I don't know if you can see, but it's even got like a kumquat down there at the bottom. Oh, can't drink when my straw's in the kumquat. All right. So, now becomes the question of should you... We'll put this out here. Now this becomes the question of should you focus on one program or should you diversify across a lot of different programs? If you fly a lot of different airlines, should you sign up for all of their accounts and earn mileage in all of these different mileage buckets? Or should you focus on just a few? And the answer here is going to be you should try to focus on a few airlines that are in the major alliances. There are 3 major alliances. We've got Star Alliance with United as the main U.S. carrier in Star Alliance, home to ANA, Lufthansa. We have One World, which is home to American Airlines and British Airways, amongst others. And then we have SkyTeam, which is home to Delta, Air France, KLM. And so within these alliances, you can book flights on these other partners. Like if you have an American Airlines frequent flyer number and you book a British Airways flight, you can give British Airways your American Airlines frequent flyer number, and then the miles you would have earned, or Avios as British Airways calls them, instead of being earned in your British Airways bucket, they're credited to American Airlines instead, so that you can have more points in one place. So for me, I will send all of my Star Alliance flights, whether I'm flying United or whether I'm flying ANA or whether I'm flying Turkish Airlines, and I will credit all of those to my United account. In One World, I will credit everything to my American Airlines account. Within SkyTeam, I will credit everything to my Delta account. Now, there are airlines that aren't members of these alliances. Southwest Airlines is a great example of that. What do you do about that? Then you open up an account. That's what you do. You open up an account and then you earn your miles on Southwest. Chris, how strongly do you believe in this? My 4-year-old daughter has a number of frequent flyer accounts today. She already has United miles. She already has Southwest miles because, you know what, over a period of decades that she's going to fly on these things, it's going to turn out to a lot of miles that otherwise would have just gone to waste had I not simply just signed her up for that number and then input it every time we fly. United Airlines actually just introduced this new feature where you can, from like multiple friends or family members, pool your miles to book an award ticket. So if you're taking a couple family trips and the 5 of you earn miles, but none of you have enough miles to book one ticket outright, using this new feature, you can like pool the miles together to then book a ticket that you might not have been able to book otherwise. And Kathy says right here, we did that. We flew American Airlines and we added our Qantas frequent flyer number to it. Right. So Qantas is a member of Oneworld. And so Kathy was able to earn the miles that would have otherwise gone to American Airlines or gone to waste into her Qantas account. Alex points out one of the benefits to Southwest is that the points don't expire. A lot of airlines do, even though it might not matter to frequent flyers. All right, let's go ahead and talk about mileage expiration now. So this is something that really gets a lot of people, that many airlines have expiration timelines for their miles. And the expiration can come in a couple of forms. And I don't, we've already said that your elite status resets every year. They just boop. But airlines will also expire your redeemable miles. And so one form of expiration is if you haven't had any activity in your account over a period of some time, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, depends on the airline. If you've had no activity in your account, then all of your miles expire. Foop, into thin air. Why do the airlines do this? Because they really don't want you to redeem them. And so if they can just make them disappear, you know what? That's a big profit to the airline. The other form of mileage expiration is expiration from when they were earned. So you've earned these miles and they're good for the next 3 years. And if you don't redeem them, then they go poof. And so in systems like that, generally when you redeem for things, then you're redeeming the older miles first until you get up to the newer miles. So how do you pay attention to whether your miles expire? There are tracking websites, like the Points Guy has an app that you can use to track whether your points are expiring. You can use a spreadsheet to track when your points are expiring. Generally, on the programs, and generally most programs are of the inactivity variety, where if you don't do anything, you don't earn anything, you don't spend anything, after a set amount of time, your miles go poof. The fix to that is if you have the airline credit card, and you make a purchase every once in a while, it's just a few miles that get credit to it, but hey, that keeps your activity going. The other thing you can do, you can redeem your miles for something really cheap, like a magazine subscription. Something you can do in some programs is donate miles to charity. That will often reset the timer because it's a use. Or you might even purchase a ticket and have it refunded. Doesn't necessarily work on every carrier. You should check it works on yours, but that's activity in the account. You bought something, you refunded it, there was activity in the mileage account. Now, I talked about mileage runs a little bit earlier. I want to dive into a little bit more detail on mileage runs, because this is a term you may have heard in this frequent flyer thing, and you might be like, Chris, what's a mileage run? Does that mean I'm running a lot on the airplane or running in the airport? What's a mileage run? A mileage run is generally going the longest distance for the cheapest price. And here Chris is holding a ticket in Singapore airport because for me, often one of the places I can go the longest for the cheapest is often Singapore on United Airlines. And the mileage run back in the day, it could be pretty lucrative, particularly if you could find a cheap business class ticket or a mistake fare. You could earn tons of miles that you could then redeem for better flights for where you actually wanted to go. It's often called a mileage run because the mileage runners, as they were called, might just get on the plane and go to the destination, like Singapore, be in the Singaporean airport for 2 hours, get back on the plane, and then go home. Chris has never done that. The shortest amount of time I've been in Singapore has been 2 nights in there. I don't quite have the longevity to just exist on airplanes. But the reason why I would take the mileage runs to Singapore is to maintain my elite status on United Airlines. For a period of years, I had United 1K status, which is not quite the top tier on United Airlines. That's global services, but it's the next tier down. And there were a few Decembers where I was like, well, I'm just 10,000 miles away. Where can I go for 10,000 miles that I also like? And I'm like, Singapore. Singapore will put me over the top. It's just $600, so go ahead and let go. Let's go. Today, mileage runs are generally not worth it for mileage earning, but may still be worth it if you want to maintain or achieve elite status in an airline. We'll talk more about whether elite status is worth it as the last point I've got on this list. A couple points here. Michael says United miles don't expire on United Airlines, and Alex says another one, if you're desperate enough that you don't want your miles to expire, is to buy points if offered. That's a great tip, Alex. So thank you for that. Thank you for that tip. Esther says, my ex moved 500,000 Chase points to Singapore Airlines for 2 first-class tickets in January. Clearly, we didn't go, and I heard he still hasn't gone yet. Yeah, and so what's I guess, going to be probably the bummer for that is that, like, those miles that were Chase miles that are now in Singapore, they can't go back to Chase, and they'll sit in that Singapore account, and if they're not used, they'll expire. And so that's one that you definitely have to, like, maintain it, like mow the grass to make sure you're like, okay, well, let me buy miles, redeem something, or do this so that the miles all don't go poof. Nightwolf says, I've learned buying miles when they have sales is worth it. It can be. I mean, it depends on the sale. So I think you need to look at that. What I will say is that if you are going to buy miles from a sale, then you probably want to have like a thought in mind for how you're going to use those miles and not just keep the miles in the bank, because airlines always devalue their miles. And so a trap that I see a lot of people ending up in is they never use their miles because maybe they travel for business or whatever, and so they just redeem lots and lots of miles, and then they see this mileage account being their like nest egg that they're going to go travel on when they retire, only to find out that the miles aren't worth that much anymore because the airline has successfully devalued them, and now they can't book as many things. And so, the best time to book award tickets is now. It's the cheapest time to book award tickets because just as the trend goes on, airlines make them harder to book. They have less award tickets. They make the awards more expensive. So the mantra typically in this mileage game is earn and burn. Earn your miles and then burn the miles. Go on your travel. Try not to keep too many of them in the bank. The banks that I would try to keep them in are the Ultimate Rewards Bank, the Membership Rewards Bank, or the Capital One Miles Bank, because then if you find out, well, you want to go to Singapore, you want to go here, you want to go that, then you have a large pool of things that you can deploy where you want to redeem those miles. All right, let's talk a little bit more about credit cards. I said credit cards were one of the most popular ways to earn today. In fact, they are my most lucrative way of earning miles today. Every major airline has their own credit card, perhaps even a suite of credit cards. So the sign-up bonus is going to be the most lucrative way that you're going to earn the most amount of miles with the least amount of money and the least amount of time. Consider signing up for multiple variants of the card. United has a bunch of different flavors of their card. You can earn the sign-up bonus as you work your way through that whole family of United cards. The Chase Sapphire Reserve card that I show here at the front of this stack, this tends to be my favorite card for earning spend. It earns 3 Ultimate Rewards points per dollar spent on travel and dining, and Chase considers travel to be a very broad area, and then those miles transfer to United Miles or many other partners. Okay, I want to talk about shopping portals a little bit now, because I feel like shopping portals are like for many people, the undiscovered part of mileage stuff. They're like, cool, Chris, I know I can get a credit card, and Chris, I know I can fly. But most people, I shouldn't say most, many people don't know about these. So so this is the United shopping portal, and I'm just going to tell you about this one, and then we'll talk about the other airlines that have them too, because they might be your preference. But on this shopping portal right here, what you do is before you go and do some online shopping, you head over to the United Mileage Plus shopping portal, you put in your Mileage Plus number, and then you find the store that you're looking for. And like you can see up here, that Macy's will earn 1 mile per dollar, but magazines.com will earn 8 miles per dollar, and Under Armour will earn 3 miles per dollar. When I bought this monitor back here from Dell for, what was it, $1,000 or something like that, I think they might have had a deal where I was getting 5 miles per dollar. So then that was 5,000 miles earned for buying this monitor that I wouldn't have got otherwise. So the major shopping portals, United's one of them. Alaska Airlines has a shopping portal. American Airlines, British Airways, Delta Airlines, JetBlue, Southwest Airlines, and Kathy said Qantas too. I can't go through all 100 airlines in the world and all of their programs, but likely, wherever you are, or whatever your program of flavor or whatever your alliance of flavor, you can find a shopping portal for that. It could be a way that you build up points in a program that you might not be able to earn a lot of points any other way. It's also a great way to maintain your mileage in a bunch of things, is like spread out your shopping via your different mileage portals will help you maintain the expiration date on some of those accounts. All right. So the other thing that many people don't know about is dining programs. What's a dining program? The way these dining programs work is with the airline, you register your credit card number, and then every time you use your credit card at a restaurant that participates in the dining program, you earn points. And so I've signed up all of my credit cards in the American Advantage dining program, and they have like a site that you can go to where you can like check what restaurants are Advantage dining and like decide to go there because they are. Honestly, I don't do that. That's too much work. I don't decide where I go based upon where I earn miles. But what I do is I just register my credit card and I eat around, and then every once in a while I get an email that says like, oh, you just earned 100 miles for your dining. I'm like, sweet. I got food and I ate and I got some miles. And so here it tells you earn 5 miles per $1 spent on dine-in and takeout orders, in addition to what you would earn from your credit card. So like I can earn, when I eat out at American, like on my Chase Sapphire card, I'll earn 3 Ultimate Rewards points and 5 American Airlines miles. It's another one of these kind of like double dip sort of things. So the major dining programs, at least in the USA, are Delta has a dining program. They call it the Delta Sky Miles Dining. United Mileage Plus Dining. American Advantage Dining that you see pictured here. Spirit Airlines Free Spirit Dining. Alaska Mileage Dining Plan. And Southwest Rapid Rewards Dining. So make sure to avail yourself of these dining programs as well. Kathy says, I have not looked at dining programs. Definitely one to look into. And Alex says the one fun thing is maybe finding new spots to try on those participating restaurant pages. Found a couple newer favorites that way. Yeah, there could be. You might find a restaurant that you've never heard of before. Points Traveler points out Marriott has dining too. Marriott, Hilton, IHG have dining too. Thank you for that tip. But they're not airlines, which is why I didn't mention them here. All right. But still might be useful if what you want to collect is you want to collect hotel points instead of airline points. Okay, I got 2 more points that I want to cover before we go to Q&A, and then we do the giveaway for a Yellow Productions Crew shirt. I want to give you some booking tips about like what's the best way to actually think about booking award tickets, and then I want to answer the question, is elite status worth it? Q&A, then the giveaway. By the way, the giveaway today, if you're waiting for the Yellow Productions Crew shirt, it's going to be based on something I posted on my community tab, so you might want to familiarize yourself with what's going on over my community posts before we do that. All right, so booking tips. Award availability is typically not all seats on the plane all of the time. Different airlines release their seats at different times throughout the year. Some airlines may release the award tickets 1 year out. 1 year out might not be 365 days for the airline. It might be 330, it might be 334. So you may wish to research, when does Japan Airlines open their award availability, find that date, figure out the time, and then you can be like, okay, can I get online at that time of night to see and like snipe those 4 business class tickets that they release every day a year out on that plane. Sometimes, though, airlines are not releasing them as they release their schedule, and they're just releasing them as time goes on. When they find out people aren't booking their first or business class or economy tickets, they're like, all right, let's go ahead and make more award availability. Sometimes you'll find some of the best award availability to be last minute, particularly in the business and first class. They've tried everything they can to sell those tickets, and if they can't, well, then they'll make them available. The other thing to look at is if you're traveling with a group of people, you might never find 4 business class award tickets on the airline you're looking for. But you might find one, and then what you might find is if you book one, the booking system might replenish the one. And then you can book that one again, and then it replenishes that one. And you book that one again, and it replenishes that one. So consider searching one at a time, booking that one, seeing if that comes back, and then you can go ahead and book more. The good news is that many award tickets are like fully redeemed. You know, often award tickets, you can just refund them without any fee since it's a free ticket anyway. And so it makes doing that a little bit easy. You can always split up the family. 2 of you can go in business, 2 of you can go in economy. Flip it the other way around, and, you know, maybe people flip around that way. All right. Now I want to answer the question, is elite status worth it on these airlines? Is it worth it to get United 1K or American Airlines Executive Platinum? And my short answer is, if you're going to be flying anyway, and you can focus your travel on a particular airline such that you can get the elite status, I think it's worth it. One of the most, one that people really like within the U.S. is the Southwest Airlines Companion Pass. If you fly a lot on Southwest Airlines, you can earn a Companion Pass. The Companion Pass will give you free tickets for your companion on any flight that you take for the next year. And if you fly Southwest a lot, that can be a lot of free travel. In the other programs, one of the big perks of elite status used to be free upgrades to business or first class. Those are getting significantly harder to come by because the airlines are significantly figuring out how to sell those seats for less, how to offer paid upgrades, how to offer award tickets, and really trying not to upgrade people for free. So if you're hoping to get elite status so that you get free upgrades, don't consider that the reason why. Elite status will often give you things like, you know, free checked bags, shorter lines. I mean, for me, the shorter lines are worth it. On United Airlines, the extra legroom seats are worth it. So there's a lot of things I like about having that status. How much is it worth for you to save your time and stand in the shorter line? How much is it worth to have extra legroom? I mean, those are all the things you have to answer to yourself of, is it worth it to get that elite status? Is it worth it to do a mileage run to do that elite status? I guess it depends on how much that mileage run really is. All right, well, that's, I think, everything you need to know to be a excellent beginner or hoarder to airline miles. Let's go ahead and take some questions.
Fellow explorers, it is now Q&A time. If you've got a question, I've got an answer.
Good kumquat juice. All right, Logan says, my favorite benefit of United status is free economy plus at time of booking. Getting extra legroom on long international flights for free is awesome. I agree, Logan, and it is one of the reasons why I continue to be a United loyalist, is I'm tall. So for me, that extra legroom really matters, and United, as compared to American or Delta, typically has more extra legroom seats on their planes than American and Delta do, which is why Chris, as a tall dude, likes United Airlines. TP says, is revenge travel for international hotels still going strong? I think it depends where you're going, TP. But like in Vegas, revenge travel for hotels there still going strong. So it really depends on the destination. Points Traveler says, which U.S. airline has the best mileage program in your opinion? Really depends where you're going. Again, I'm a United loyalist just because I'm tall and they fly where I fly. They fly to Asia. So I tend to think United has the best mileage program. I think Delta is the best airline from terms of on-time service, quality of the airline, the staff that works on the airline, their politeness. So those are my two favorite programs and airlines. Boomer Tuber, thank you so much for your support. He says if you fly 3x a year, is mileage points thing worth it? I think so, because, sign up for the account, get the miles, and you might not be able to redeem anything after the first year, but after 3 or 4 years, there could be a free flight in there for you, and boy, a free flight is better than a poke in the eye for sure. Eric says, can you get your points back from a cancellation? In most rewards programs, cancellations generally are free on award tickets, and generally you get all your miles and points back. Kathy is in Japan right now, and she says Japan is very busy at the moment. Cherry blossom season, second cherry blossom season since Japan's been open from COVID, so I would imagine it is. Taco Joe says, are all your daily life purchases made with credit cards to earn points? Absolutely. I put everything I can on credit cards. All of my daily spend, all of my bills. I put my cable bill, my internet bill, my cell phone bill on credit cards. Anything I can pay with a credit card that doesn't cost me more, I will pay with a credit card. Sean says, what's your favorite airport you've been into? Definitely Singapore. Joe says, why would you eat in a lounge when you get served food in a plane? Because it's so much better in the lounge. I mean, if it's a good lounge, like not the United Lounge or the United Club, the food in there is really lame. But if you're in like Singapore and you're eating at the Singapore Airlines lounge, it's like great dim sum and laksa and noodles, and that's going to be so much better. Bigger kitchens, better stuff than you could ever hope to get on an airplane. Eric says JetBlue has the best legroom for an economy seat. They just don't go that many places. So that's my challenge with JetBlue. Grant Yenny asks, what are my thoughts on Southwest rewards? Southwest, what I like about Southwest is I like that it's simple. They offer like all their tickets as award tickets. And so you like when we went to Sedona, we redeemed Southwest points to go to Sedona. So that's nice. It's not like aspirational travel, it's not luxury travel, but if that's not what you're doing and you're just trying to get places that are close by, I think it's a easy to understand program, and I like that Southwest really doesn't try to have any tricks up its sleeve or like cheat you out of stuff. So the fact that like the miles never expire, that you can always get a credit on Southwest, there's just a lot of things to like about Southwest. I also like that their employees get to wear like shorts and t-shirts at the airport. I just think that's cool. As someone who wears shorts and t-shirts a lot. Johnny says, good morning from Bali. Hi, Johnny in Bali. All right, let's go to the giveaway.
Yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
All right, fellow explorers, in every live stream, I always give away a Yellow Productions crew shirt if you can answer one of my questions. And my question is, I recently posted a picture on my community page. The picture that I recently posted on my community page was of somebody wearing some Yellow Productions attire. What is the name of that person? What city are they in? And what article of Yellow Productions clothing are they wearing? If you answer all three of those things on the same line, name of the fellow explorer, city that they're in, and what article of Yellow Productions clothing they're wearing, you will win a Yellow Productions crew shirt shipped to you anywhere in the world. If you didn't get to win one, you can buy one. You can pick one up at the Yellow Production shop. You'll find a link in the description below. And if you wonder, Chris, when is the next live stream? Because this one was on Friday. What's going on? I was traveling earlier this week. Head over to the Yellow Productions update. I'll send you an email as soon as I've got the next live stream scheduled.
And now we have a winner chicken dinner.
Winner chicken dinner. Okay, there are a few answers, and I need to find the right one. So the first one that isn't right is Kat. Sorry, Kathy Ryan, Osaka, Japan, but you didn't get Beanie. Brandon got Kathy, and so the first right answer that has all three on the same line is Justin Cosplay, Kathy, Osaka, Beanie, extra A in Osaka, but Justin, I think that's close enough to win, so congratulations, Justin Cosplay. Send me an email to chris@yellow-productions.com, and I will get that hit right over to you. And if you didn't yet see Kathy in her beanie there in Osaka, there she is, sporting that Yellow Productions crew. So Kathy, thank you so much for sending that. I hope you enjoy the rest of your trip to Japan. Justin, I hope you enjoy your Yellow Productions crew shirt. To the rest of you, thank you for hanging out with me today. As always, I thank all of you for supporting the channel, particularly the channel members that you see their chats in green with the pandas too. Love you all as well. And as usual, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you in the next video.